Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be talking about a very interesting topic. This one is pretty close to my heart. It's about reading books. So, why reading 60 minutes a day is useful for you. Research have shown that if you read every day, it's pretty much useful for your brain health. People like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, they pretty much spend most of the time reading. And we all know who they are, the richest people on this planet. So back in 2014, back in 2015, I was reading an article about Warren Buffett where he mentioned that he loves to read 2-3 hours a day. He read lots of stuff a day, and he loved reading. He's been doing that for years, and that really triggered my reading habit because I was not an active reader. I used to read a book a year or 2 books a year. That's pretty much it. I never paid much attention to reading because, I'll be honest with you, it's not fun like drinking a beer or eating a cheeseburger. That's a fact. And I've tried this many times over the years to read more books. There are certain times I end up reading like 4 books a year, sometimes none. So I decided, okay, if Warren Buffett can do it, because he's one of the richest men on this world, on this planet, and he's extremely knowledgeable person. And if he thinks that reading is very important, then a person like me should be jumping straight on the book and start reading. So I started reading. I started with fiction because I'm a big fan of thriller. John Grisham, he's my favorite author, along with Robin Cook. So I spent a month reading different thrillers written by John Grisham and Robin Cook. They were pretty good. Then I decided, let me give a try reading philosophy. So I read a book about Plato, Republic. It's pretty good. It's pretty inspirational, I would say. That changed my perception towards my life in a different way. So, if I'll be honest with you, in the last 3 years, I end up in reading 42 books. And for a person like me, that's a big achievement. I understand that, most of you may not prefer reading using books. Some prefer audiobooks. Some like to read using ebook reader. Whichever works for you, I would say that stick to it. And another reason why reading is important for you is that you cut short of that experience of other person. What I meant by is that a person would have spent 50 or 60 years of life learning certain experience. And you can cut short of that 50, 60 years of that experience by 3 to 4 hours reading that person autobiography or a book written by that person. For instance, if you wanted to read about Michael Dell life story, you can pretty much read from his autobiographies, how he started Dell Computers, $1,000, and you can read about Steve Jobs. You can read about Bill Gates, and you can read about different people. You can read about Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, different lifestyles, or you can read about medicine. There are a lot of things out there in the market, and the world is not short of knowledge. And there are people out there who actually make use of this knowledge to bring them success and prosperity. There is a book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I presume this is one of the bestseller books of all time. I've read that book, and it's amazing, I would say that. And if you really wanted to be successful, if you wanted to have a different perception in life, no matter where you are, no matter what you do, I would really encourage you to check it out. It's amazing. It's an old book. It's a classic. It's from 1930s, but it's worth reading. Another book I would really encourage you to read is A Leader Who Has No Title. This is a book by Robin Sharma. He's a Canadian author. This book is really one of the best read, I would say, because it talks about the role of a person in life. It talks about the leadership with no fancy title. You don't have to be a CEO, or you don't have to be a managing director, or you don't have to be a chief technology officer to do the job of a CEO or a CTO or whatever. You can still be a janitor, and you can still function like a CEO if you have the right attitude and right frame of mind. You can still bring the best on the table, what CEO brings, even though you are a janitor. You can still contribute to the same level of information or knowledge. So the books are really useful. Or another example I would like to share is that Nelson Mandela is one of the greatest personality ever lived on this planet. If you would love to know about Nelson Mandela's life and struggle, you pretty much have to read his autobiography or watch a documentary on TV or internet. You can't meet him anymore. Unfortunately, he passed away. And if you know, there are a lot of information out there, so yeah, just a matter of time. You know, you can go to the local library and pick up a book and start reading, and you know, you get yourself knowledgeable on that topic. Imagine if you wanted to read about history, about Greek history, for instance, and you spend up and you invest an hour every day reading for a year or 2 years, every single day. Imagine after 2 years how much information you have about Greek history. You'll be amazed. So my sincere advice, if you feel lost, you don't know where to start, I would say pick up a book and start reading. Otherwise, you're going to wait whole life thinking where to start. You know, read anything you like. Read about anything. So, and if you're already doing so, amazing. Keep up the good work. You're doing an amazing job. I know we all are busy in our life. I'm busy as well. I mean, I work long hours sometimes. I commute from home to work, and you know, I got other stuff to do at home. So you know, and plus, yeah, I have to do you know, my PhD as well at the same time. So it's, in spite of that, I still manage to find time to read, and it's amazing. I feel refreshed. You know, you don't have to read about, say for instance, if you're a computer programmer, you don't have to read about computer programming. You can read about philosophy, you can read about something else. It's good to learn new stuff. Or maybe if you fancy programming, if you want to learn a new language, you can go for it. So yeah, that's pretty much I wanted to talk about it, and I hope that you enjoyed this topic. I'm not trying to convince you to, you know, to do stuff if you're not interested. I'm just telling you how I felt about reading. It really helped me in many ways in my life. And yeah, before I conclude, I would also like to share, which I forgot to share, my apologies for that. 3 years ago, back in 2015, I was financially illiterate. I have no clue about how to read a financial statement. I have no idea how to manage the money. I have no idea about what share meant. I have no idea how to invest. So now in 2019, I'm pretty much knowledgeable about how to read financial statement, where to invest, why to invest, and why it's even bother to invest. So that really helped me financially a lot. And I've seen my money growing in the last 3 years, which is great. Imagine if I haven't even bothered to read about any of this stuff, I would be still stuck and keeping my money in the bank and expecting it to grow. It doesn't happen that way, unfortunately. So every small step, every knowledge you earn will help you in one or another way in your life. So I hope that you might have got a message that why reading is important. So this is just a casual talk I just wanted to share with you. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you all have a great day, whichever part of the world you are. And cheers, and greetings from New Zealand.